So in my video, the Dandy's World April devlog, I think it's PR, I got a lot of comments and a surprising number of you agree. Just for this video, I figured I'd read the top comments for now, mainly because if I read the negative comments, it'll feel unfair. Everyone is in their honeymoon phase where they can't even see any form of flaws at all, despite it being super self-evident in the devlog. I'm going to try and trust the community to pull through when these updates drop because I'm telling you, man, all it takes is just a couple of seconds of thought to realize that most of these things don't fix the core gameplay issues that people have been asking for. If there is a next time where the community does this whole I'm critical of the game but then gets on their knees when Quelliver gives an ineffective crumb, then I won't hold back. So starting off, this user says, April Fool's joke becoming real when we haven't even left the month of April. Yeah, it was so crazy to me because before I released that video, I was given the idea to pretend that there's a Sunrio collab coming up, as well as the game leaving alpha. And keep in mind, it was all a parody for April Fools in regards to the state of the game. It's quite sad that this game can be made fun of and have it all be true. This one says, that's kind of why I barely played this Easter. The game loop is kind of boring without friends to play the game with. Yeah, all of my closest friends quit the game months ago as well. Some of them have tried to play. Other times, I've tried to get them to play. And I'm telling you, the last time was with Grant and Panda. Let's just say you'd think they were being tortured out of boredom during the Squirm update. It sucks when friends don't play because all you're left with are these below 60 IQ heathens in matchmaking. This user says, the problem lies within something that I've been calling out for a long time. It's game design. Blush Crunch has so many people, yet there's not even a single game designer on the team. It's literally one of the most important things when making a game. I 100% agree. Currently, I think the game designer, sole game designer, is Quelliver herself. I've seen this criticism before. She's more so made just for the aesthetics department, not really gameplay. If you ever wonder why it feels like the gameplay has been on a nosedive, it's because back then, Rox was the one who made the shots in regards to the gameplay. You could see this in the first iteration of Dandy's World. It was going to be a completely different game than the one that we have now if Rox hadn't played Minus. If you want proof, just look up the first trailer for the game. Not to mention, if you search up Rox's user ID and type in Minus, you'll get all sorts of results that fits the timeline for Dandy's World's sudden change. What I'm trying to get at is that she is not built for being a game designer. That job should be given to someone else. I mean, she literally could save money if she actually listened to the public, but even then, most of the public are super cookie cutter with their criticism, so I think the idea of a game designer would be a good investment. This one says, thank goodness I'm not the only one who thought the video was just to keep people quiet about the gameplay. I argued so many times on the Dandy's World Reddit about this, and they'll just fall for it. Yeah, I would not argue with people on Twitter or Reddit. They have an insane and recognized echo chamber. It's not even just talking about Dandy's World. The whole website has that reputation. You never want to be called a Redditor, like ever. Twitter is pretty much what happens when you give a phone to a porn addict or someone who just escaped the mental asylum. Trust me, it's a waste of time. You're better off just posting about it on YouTube or talking about this privately with friends because the Discord is also no better. Just know, you'll always have freedom to talk here, even if you and I inherently disagreed with each other. Just search my newest on that video. You'll see them. You'll see them. This user says, man, I actually love these rants. Totally agree. Crazy how only one thing that she shows us is related to gameplay. Hopefully there's more gameplay stuff she just didn't show us yet. Crossing my fingers. Yeah, thanks. I'm in the commentary phase now because, simply put, the game is just too boring to cover. As for your second part, it is crazy that only one thing that affects the gameplay was shown, yet people advertise this devlog as though the game was going to change forever. And finally, your third part, I'm the opposite. I'm not so hopeful because there's too many instances of her overhyping updates that just turned out to be mundane or even crap. The dial update is a good example. Many of the buff tunes, same goes for the trinkets, the Shelly map. There's a long list, and I'm looking towards the past to know what my future updates are going to look like, and it's not looking good. This user says, I agree. I was happy we were getting something, but now it's going to fall back to the same issue as dial. People are going to glaze it for months, and the dev team will probably think it's enough when it isn't. Yeah, I mentioned this in the video as well. There was a slight bit of criticism going around before the dial update, and surprise, surprise, they actually listened on updating the gameplay. Too bad the execution was really bad, and no one pointed it out. Well, except for yours truly. People went back to their honeymoon phase, and we never heard a peep until recently. And you see the exact same cycle today. I've always said this, Danny's World fans accept less and not more. They prove that time and time again, and because of that, the devs do think it's enough because the fans accept below bare minimum. The biggest thing holding this game back will always be its consumers. If only everyone just locked hands on the gameplay just this one time, we would actually get a good update that their hands would be forced to work on, but no. Let's just reward the bad dev behavior by buying their plushies. They're in a position of power now where they can afford to not listen to us, and that's the scariest thing. This user says, I knew where the game was headed, and it's quite annoying that I was right. Merch, game passes, and other nonsense we didn't ask for. It's honestly laughable how easy it was to guess how it was headed after I saw there was yet another game pass this spring after the Christmas one. Yeah, I've guessed this before as well. My friends too have guessed this. People that I've talked to in private that are outside of my circles have said the same thing. It doesn't take a lot of thought or discernment to see where the game is going. I mean, just recently she put in the sneak peeks the dial plush, and this dumbass animation that is very obviously a marketing ploy. Yeah, it's just gonna be fandom, fan service, and that's all it'll succumb to. This other user says, I like the tune of the week idea, but having essentially a better version of the default skin for Robux just kind of seems scummy. You know, I saw a lot of people really not like the idea of skins costing Robux. I mentioned it a bit in the video about the pricing, but for me, the overall issue is that we're getting more and more skins. I would somewhat agree that it's scummy, only because they already make so much from the damn merchandise. Seeing those millions of dollars not being reinvested into the game is what upsets me. This one says, I thought I was the only one who thought this, but I was too scared to express it on TikTok or anywhere else, OMG, because I just know I would get attacked for telling the truth. Dude, it's so sad that this fandom is that parasocial where they would restrict your speech. I know you can find hints of this everywhere on Roblox, but it's just that, hints. I don't think I've ever been in a Roblox fandom where the developer is defended like their life is on the line. Like I said prior, it's just a waste of time. I almost forgot about TikTok. That's another place that is like the echo chambers mentioned prior. But anywho, on to the next. Call releases an update for the game, then goes on Corey Kenshin breaks. You know, the funny thing is, the game gets updates monthly, but the reason it feels like it doesn't is because the majority of the updates are filler and don't bring any replay value, well, at all. It really does feel like the last big update was Dial. This user says, Call trying to be dandy and giving gumball ass updates and giving a bandage update once a year. Okay, wait. Okay, that's actually pretty funny. Dolly here says, I'm happy the golden skin isn't hard to get, but the Robux skin for Sprout literally should have been his default to give him a baker aspect. Again, people really dislike the weekly FOMO. Something she should obviously change, but I bet she isn't. This user says, it is genuinely so insane that fan AUs and theories add more lore to the game than the actual game. I forget which Danny's World YouTuber I was watching, but they were critiquing the Easter update, and in their comment section, a user said something along the lines of, Danny's World lore is just one giant vague post, which I gotta say, has to be the most accurate depiction of the lore I've seen to date. I hate vague posting. And finally, the last comment. This user says, for Tune of the Week, they must cover the bad slash underwhelming tunes, Scraps, Connie, Brusha, Finn, etc. first if they are going to make tune of the week about improving tunes and twisted. These ones need to be covered first. My thing is, I agree that they should cover these guys first, but how much you want to bet it's going to be the mains than the rest? Also, I'm not confident because Scraps and Brusha already had their quote-unquote polishing, and it turned out to be ass. We literally have a record on how these people buff their characters. It's not good. I'm not going to hold on to hope for the weekly tune ordeal. Well, those are a few comments that I'll cover for today. Again, I don't want to respond to bad comments until after the honeymoon phase is over, because again, it just wouldn't be fair. If afterwards the community shows zero change and continues to fall for it, then I won't hold back next time. But yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to give you an update on what people thought about the devlog in regards to my video. So hopefully when the honeymoon phase is over, people can actually see it for what it is. Or when these updates do end up dropping, people can see it for what it is. So yep, with that, I'm going to be calling it here. Goodbye. Goodbye.